Hi, sir. So, sorry for the delay. So, now we'll start. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and my dear students, welcome to today's webinar on One Nation, One Election, organized by the School of Law PCU, with our distinguished guest, Mr. Chandrapal, Advocate, Delhi High Court. I heartily welcome you, sir, for accepting our invitation. As the head of the Department of the School of Law PCU, I am honored to moderate this discussion. Mr. Chandrapal's expertise will undoubtedly shed light on the complexities and implications of this topic. Let's begin and engage in a thought provoking conversation. Please, sir, over to you.
Uh, I'm profoundly good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and students and faculties. Uh, I'm profoundly grateful for the distinguished honor of being invited to deliver a lecture on a matter of national significance and rapid transformation of country's growth. The opportunity to engage with such erudite audience under the esteemed guidance of VC ma'am, Dr. Manimala Puri ma'am, and Pro VC Dr. Sudeep Thapade, and HOD Mr. Priyank Rana sir. Ma'am, your kind support and the platform proud to have, would provide and a great insight of the topic and enrich the discourse. I deeply appreciate the support and for providing the support and platform. And thank you for the opportunity. And special thanks to Priyank sir also for inviting me to deliver a lecture at such prestigious university. Today we are discussing a concept which is not new. Am I audible to you? Hello? Am I
Yes, sir.
audible to you?
Yes, sir. Audible. Please carry on, sir.
Today we are discussing one nation, one election, that is simultaneous election. We are discussing a concept which is not new, but a matter of national importance or great significance in today's world when uh, growing economies need a new push every second day. Simultaneous elections. Uh,
Sir, sorry to
we,
interrupt, sir, but a bit louder, please.
yes, I can be a bit louder.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Simultaneous elections need arose from the point of view of having efficient elections in the country. There was no defect in the earlier election that were being conducted by the Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India was doing fabulous job, and our Election Commission of India has trained a number of electoral process trainees across globe. So today we are at the mark to make another paradigm shift in our election process and to make it more efficient. Simultaneous elections uh, is a process wherein we can have elections at a three level. The government is at three level, and we can have that election at one time only. That is simultaneous election, conducting election at one time only. Uh, Three level of the government, that is the local body, another is second state, and the third one is central level, the federal structure. Simultaneous elections need for the first time was raised by the Election Commission of India in the uh, report that was published annually by the Election Commission of India. It was published in 1986 and report was of 1983. In that report, Election Commission of India highlighted the need of having simultaneous election from the perspective of voter participation, administrative efficiencies, duplication errors in the voter list or polls, and to address the need of are that states are undergoing elections and the national polity is being involved in the this election process, and the in this process we are forgetting the policies that are being run by the central government that are being changed. Well, ultimately they're leading to the paralyzing the policies being halted in between due to elections. That was the report. Election Commission of India highlighted the polity of country in that report 1983. That was the first instance when this simultaneous election need was highlighted for the first time in India. Although we were having simultaneous elections in India 1951 to 1967. That was three elections, 57, 62, 67. Three general elections were conducted simultaneously. Voter participation was also good, above or around 70% voter participation was recorded that time. But due to premature dissolution and disruptions in 1968 and 1969, uh, this state legislative assemblies was disrupted and dissolved. Uh, Also, at the time, the fourth Lok Sabha also dissolved, and in 1977 also there was emergency. The trend continued. The polity could not get stable, and in between we lost track of having simultaneous election. That is one nation, one elections. That was the point when we lost the track of having simultaneous election. That is around 1968 to 1969. There we lost the track. Another instance where it was cited or highlighted as a need of the having efficient elections by conducting simultaneous elections was uh, 170th Law Commission report. They criticized conducting elections every year. Chairman was of Law Commission then, BP Jeevan Reddy, Justice BP Jeevan Reddy in 1999 में. In 170th Law Commission report, chairman highlighted and the committee highlighted that conducting elections simultaneously is a rule, not an exception. And again, the Law Commission took the note of ECI report, annual ECI report of 1983, that polity is being hampered, the policies are being hampered, policies are being discontinued, duplication of error, logistic supports, administrative efficiency, regional reasons, divergence, voter participation, and security concerns also. And the main concerns was polity and policy. The polity is being involved in the elections again and again, and the policies are being discontinued and continued afresh with the new name, or some policies are being discontinued, and then this was the engagement that are being done. That was in futile exercise. Our system is being involved due to conducting elections at every fifth month, or at the gap of 4 months. So that was the need that was highlighted in the 170th report. That is the second that is the second point where the need was highlighted. 170th Law Commission report by under chairman of BP Jeevan Reddy, just BP Jeevan Reddy. And Law Commission of India also criticized conducting election every year in 2015 in its 255th report. They also said that for rapid transformation and effective elections, simultaneous elections is a need, and they are being embraced by the number of democracies across the globe. And they are good for developing countries. And the India and our country also had simultaneous election, and there was good result. Another instance wherein the need for simultaneous election was cited as it was growing. The need was growing every time. It was organically growing again. National Commission to Review Working of the Constitution. also highlighted that there needs to conduct simultaneous elections. And another instance in 2015, 79th report of Parliament Standing Committee in Rajya Sabha recommended that there has to be a simultaneous election, and they okay. I'll be little louder. I'll be little louder. In 79th report, Parliament Standing Committee in 2015 report that was laid down in Rajya Sabha, uh, the report was from the point of view of feasibility ki how to conduct simultaneous election, and the obviously the point was cited why simultaneous elections needed in India. The 79th report said that elections can be conducted in two phases, like Germany and Japan. They were citing the democracies and the system of Japan and Germany. The committee report, this committee report, 79th report of Parliament Standing Committee, was acknowledged by the cabinet also, and high level committee also, that was constituted by the government of India on 18th September to 2014 under the chairmanship of Dr. Kovid, the former president of India. This committee said that election will be conducted in two ways, and this report, this suggestion is being taken from this report. Another point where the simultaneous elections committee now, the need to have simultaneous elections, and the discourse is being taken into the polity, and the leaders are discussing it now after 1999 and 1983, then 2015, 99, then high level committee in 2014 and 23. High level committee was constituted by the government of India with 8 members. It was consisting of jurists as well as uh, professors, academia, and other related concerned officers also. And this committee was doing work on this, that how to conduct simultaneous elections in India and why we need simultaneous elections in India. This committee suggested that we need to conduct simultaneous elections, and approved the previous committees and reports that there is a need to have synchronization and scrutinization of elections, and for efficient uh, elections process, we need to introduce this concept of simultaneous election, or one nation, one election. So these are the reports that we just discussed. They are five, six reports that were continuously coming after 2 year, 3 year. That was growing organically. The demand was growing organically. So one may argue the point why we need simultaneous election. The positive outcomes for this need is cited that it will increase voter participation, point one, and second, it will increase administrative efficiency. Like administration is being involved in number of states after gap of 5 year. Everywhere election is being conducted in India. That was cited in the 79th Parliament Standing Committee report also. And logistic barriers also there, that when you conduct election after 5 year, 5 month, you have to move the logistic, like the staff that conducts election, the CRPF battalions and etc., and the uh, material support also. Reduce election expenditure also. When you come to one nation one election, it saves the resources also at a huge level in conducting one nation, one election, or simultaneous elections. Another point that is being uh, considered for having one nation, one election as a positive is that they promote They promote continuity of policies, and ultimately they are saving the system from being engaged in uh, useless activities that are being done to appease this section of the society or the state or region, whatever we may say, that are being just drafted to please someone. So policy can be at a national level, policy can be at the state level as well, but they will be continued throughout the 5 year span. They will not be discontinued just because of this election thing. In India, we have seen the total premature dissolutions in India 7 times, and the rest were for 5 year terms assembly. Then the seven, the total disruptions that occurred in the 5 year term that are being that is for the conducting general election, the tenure that was disturbed 7 times out of uh, 13 or 15 times. That is 50% times uh, this assembly is getting disrupted. So we cannot say that this will lead to premature dissolution. Then we cannot have another government to represent, or then we need to conduct election again. That is the reality of the polity also, that in this present form where we are having election every 5 months, there has been instances where premature dissolutions occurred. So it is nothing new and not discouraging also. So simultaneous elections we can conduct to enhance election process also. And the committee by former president said that we need to amend the constitution, that is article 324A of the constitution. That is, we need to introduce two articles actually, in 82 and in 324. Then we are adding 324A and 82A, 324A and 82A. 324A is being added to enable the parliament to legislate on the matters of elections qua state assemblies, local bodies, and Lok Sabha. Raj Sabha is not included because there is no direct election. And 82A is being included because we need to we need to adopt a one nation election. Then we have to have uh, transition phase. We cannot just move and curtail the rights of state assemblies. That is why 82 is being introduced in the constitution. The most discussed article on this topic also, the 82A, the transition phase, that how we will come from that varied election to simultaneous election. The varied election in case that we are having elections after 5 years, and then simultaneous elections then one time. How to shift at that simultaneous election, that is under Article 82A, that is being introduced. Although it is not introduced yet, but it will come. It will come in the next monsoon session, as being promised by the joint parliament committee or the government level sources. Section 14 and another amendment that may be seen is in section 1415 of Representation of People Act 1951. Also in the Lok Sabha rules or the state assembly rules, we can see the changes also, and we can see the dilution of the anti-defection law, and that may be diluted because there will be no need in this structure of one nation, one election in that case. So this one this will come under 129th Constitutional Amendment Act. That that will come under this. The bill is being this is bill 129th Constitutional Amendment bill is being introduced in the last session also, but it could not pass due to though it was passed, but government still referred it for major consultations to stakeholders and the concerned parties, and so they referred it for major consultation through GPC. If that is the structural, that is a constitutional structure that will change. We will discuss the constitutionality aspect also. We will discuss how 82A can affect the federalism. We will see how the right of uh, small political parties or regional political parties may get affected. We will also check whether uh, transitions power uh, and the election commission autonomy, how will it affect the polity of India or the democratic rights of the citizen or the structure of the democratic. Totally. High level committee, if you talk about high level committee, they were concerned about these aspects, whether it will affect federalism or not, and whether it will affect regional polity, or it will affect financial aspect of the state, regional parties influence. They covered a huge number of aspects while they have this, and they have their reasons, and I guess they have detailed work on that, and they have cited comparative analysis also. They involved South Africa, Sweden, Belgium, Germany, Indonesia, Philippines, and Japan. Uh, the report by former president said that we can follow the Germany model or Japan model. Germany and Japan model is simple, that where you can have government by one nation, one election, that is simultaneous election, and then if that government that is being elected, that can the that is being elected, if that loses the confidence in the house, we can have the vice vote, constructive vice vote, constructive no confidence motion. That is the structure of the polity in the parliament form of government, wherein if the majority of the major leader of the house, we can say the popular leader of the house loses the confidence, then we can have vice vote. We have seen in the UK also that during the Brexit, number of prime minister changed, but there was no election. That is the constructive no confidence motion, when the popular leader loses the confidence of the house and the people, they have a vice vote in the house itself, and they select the new leader. That why this exercise of no confidence motion, this is being replaced with constructive no confidence. Why this exercise? This will save us from entering into elections before 5 years. That is premature dissolution. That is the safety valve. That is in the Germany, that is in the Japan, कि जब होप यू आर कंफर्टेबल इन हिंदी, कि जब एक पॉपुलर लीडर हाउस में अपना कॉन्फिडेंस खोएगा, तो अल्टीमेटली पूरा पार्टी को या तो गिव अप करना पड़ेगा एंड इलेक्शन में एंटर करना पड़ेगा, या फिर चलो वो कर भी गया, एक बार के लिए मान लेते वो पार्टी अपना कंट्रोल या पॉलिटिकली अब जो भी एक वोट का इन्फ्लुएंस होता है, विप वगैरह होती है, उनको वो लूज कर जाते हैं, अपना उनका मेजोरिटी शो नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो उस केस में तो फिर दूसरा इलेक्शन होगा, जो कि पॉसिबल है, क्योंकि ऐसा तो है कि कोई भी अपना हाउस में कंट्रोल जो है या फिर मेजोरिटी लूज कर सकता है, तो उस केस में कंस्ट्रक्टिव नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन का जो कॉन्सेप्ट जर्मनी और जापान में हुआ है, और जो सेकंड जो पार्टी होती है या फिर जो सेकंड पर्सन होता है जो ये कहता है कि आई कैन प्रूव द मेजोरिटी, दैट विल हेड द नेशन, दैट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ सेकंड government before bypassing the election. That is in the Germany, that is in the Japan, that is also in the UK. But UK have that act also, and they diluted that act also. But we have to stick to the Germany and Japan also, Japan only. And we have seen that this one nation, one election uh, shift was taken by Indonesia also in 2019. They shifted from varied election to one nation, one election, that is simultaneous election. And that election was successful, and they had now stable polity structure. Now they can engage in diverse and difficult policy decisions also. That is the recent example wherein the one nation, one election was adopted. That is Indonesia, that was adopted in 2019. What are the cons and how it will affect the parties? That is the new aspect that we will deal, that I'll deal, matlab. And I'll also go into that aspect of constitutionality. That is the two aspects that are remaining here. The opponent argue that it will affect federalism. How it will affect federalism? Let's say ki we can understand it from perspective of a point of by taking an example. Let's say that today we wish to continue one nation election in India, and we have seen that Delhi recently had elections, and Haryana also, and the Maharashtra also. Now, how can we cut the tenure of the uh, assemblies? 172 of the constitution, article 172 of constitution gives autonomy to the assemblies. If we cut the tenure of these assemblies like Haryana, Delhi, and Maharashtra, if we cut the tenure for conducting simultaneous election, it will affect the autonomy and the state government right. That will be the exercise being done on the pretext of the central government. That this is affecting the right of the state government. Therein the friction comes and the role of federalism comes, and the state will argue that we are the elected government, you are the elected government, you cannot cut our autonomy, you cannot take away our rights. That is the friction that is being uh, noted when we talk about the feasibility of simultaneous election. That is the foremost argument that we need to see how to accommodate, how to adjust this shift. Whether it will be a one time, whether it will be a proportionate, whether it will be a slow, whether it will be a phase wise. If we see 79th Parliament Standing Committee report, they say that elections should be conducted in two phases. It means the assemblies which have completed tenure with uh, the Lok Sabha tenure, that is the coterminous with the Lok Sabha tenure, they should be included in the general election, that is the Lok Sabha election, and they be made part of the one time election, and half state should be half. द कमेटी सजेस्टिंग दैट कुछ स्टेटों को जो है लोकसभा के साथ इलेक्शन करा देते, कुछ को बीच में करा देंगे. जिनका लोकसभा के साथ कराना उनका टेन्योर पूरा होना चाहिए, जिनको बीच में कराएंगे वो कम से कम उनका 50% टेन्योर होना चाहिए. इस तरीके से वो इस फ्रिक्शन को कम करना चाहते थे 79th रिपोर्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट कमेटी. एंड पॉइंट इज कि इफ दे आर डूइंग दिस एंड द स्टेट जिनका 50% से ज्यादा टेन्योर रहता है, लेट्स से कि टीएन है और तमिल बंगाल है, बंगाल में जो है एक टीएमसी गवर्नमेंट और एक टीएन में भी एक गवर्नमेंट है डीएमके आई गेस. तो वो दोनों जो है स्टेट अपोज करते हैं कि हमारा 50% तो नहीं रहता, लेकिन हमारा जो है 40% रहता है या फिर 60% रहता है, कोई भी वेरिड कर लेते, बट दे आर सेइंग दैट यू कैन नॉट टेक अवे बिकॉज वी हैव राइट to run the government. We are elected government. You cannot take away our right. That is the 172. That is also need that we need to amend also. That is 172 we need to amend. 82 we need to amend. 174 we need to amend. 356 that they are the articles of constitution. 356 also we need to amend. 85 we need to amend. Representation of People's Act we need to amend. And another point that is being highlighted is that the central government need half states ratification when it comes to the federalism. The foremost argument that is being uh, taken as the point justified by the opponents, the federalism issue, and the government or the report the report generally, the report has taken this aspect with all good intent, and they are trying to mitigate the effect on the federal structure and federal autonomy. They have suggested that we can conduct in the two phases that will lower the federal friction. Also, we will somehow approach this one nation election with staggered approach. Staggered approach means that is what I said कि 30% अगर किसी का टेन्योर रहता है तो हम उसको जो है एक इलेक्शन के साथ जोड़ देंगे, जो भी इलेक्शन वहां पे कंडक्ट होगा, जो कि हमारा 2 फेज का होगा, जिसका 30% टेन्योर रहता है, 70% कंप्लीट कर गया, उसको उस जनरल इलेक्शन के साथ जोड़ देंगे क्योंकि हमने 2 फेज में कराना है। और जिसका 70% ज्यादा रहता है उसको नेक्स्ट टेन्योर के टाइम पे लेंगे, तो फ्रिक्शन मिनिमाइज हो जाएगा। बात ये है कि क्या ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनैलिटी में जो है अपना चेक पास कर पाएगा, नहीं कर पाएगा। 129th जो बिल है वो एक्ट बन जाएगा नेक्स्ट मानसून सेशन में प्रोबेबली। तो क्या वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनैलिटी चेक कर पाए? गवर्नमेंट अपने जो है इंगेज कर रही है रिसोर्स पर्सन्स को एंड फॉर्मर चीफ जस्टिस को। Also, the oppositions and the opponent of this one nation one elections also arguing from the different perspective. I'll let you know. Mm. So I before this discussion I was talking about constructive vote of no confidence, the second government. That is the point that we need to that I need to highlight before you. This committee, the former President of India committee, had not taken this point. This point is not in the bill. Constructive vote of no confidence. A point ये है कि अगर जब हमारा पॉलिटी स्ट्रक्चर जो आने वाला है और उसमें जब ये कंस्ट्रक्टिव वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस, कोई स्ट्रक्चर नहीं है, एक फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है। पार्लियामेंट में जब मेजोरिटी वाली जो पार्टी होती है वो गवर्नमेंट में अपना होल्ड लूज कर जाती है, तो दूसरी गवर्नमेंट आके अपना दूसरा बंदा अपना आके सरकार बना लेता है। जो नेक्स्ट पॉलिटी होती है, जो नेक्स्ट पॉलिटिकल पावर होती है, ये पार्टी होती है, वो अपना जो सरकार बना लेती है। इसको कंस्ट्रक्टिव वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस देते हैं। लेकिन हमारी जो हाई लेवल कमेटी है HLC, इसने इस पॉइंट को कंसीडर नहीं किया, जबकि जापान में और जर्मनी में, इवन यूके में भी है। क्यों नहीं किया? और हमें ये रिप्लेस भी करना था नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन से, क्योंकि अभी हमारे पास नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन है और हमको रिप्लेस करना था कंस्ट्रक्टिव वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस। तो क्या एक लीगल लैक्यूना बनेगा आने वाले समय में या नहीं बनेगा? ये एक पॉइंट अभी ओपन है, इसको नो कॉन्फिडेंस के तरह ही देखा जाए। और दूसरा पॉइंट ये है कि क्या ये इसके बाद जैसी डिसोल्यूशन हुआ तो क्या गवर्नमेंट दोबारा न्यू फ्रेश इलेक्शंस में जाएगी? क्योंकि कमेटी की रिपोर्ट कहती है कि हम फ्रेश इलेक्शंस में जाएंगे। अगर ऐसा जाएंगे तो पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी आएगी या नहीं आएगी? कमेटी अभी प्रिज्यूम करके चल रही कि 3 के 3 टर्म, जब हमने फुल वन टाइम वन नेशन इलेक्शन वाला रूल फॉलो किया था, जब फर्स्ट 3 जनरल इलेक्शन थे, तो हमने पूरे टेन्योर पास किए थे। तो प्री मेच्योर डिसोल्यूशन का सवाल वो उन लोगों ने इसको जो है कंसीडर नहीं किया। वो कह रहे हैं कि हमारी गवर्नमेंट में ये नहीं चल पाएगा, ना हमें लोड है इस तरीके की। और कंस्ट्रक्टिव वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस ना सिलेक्ट करने के पीछे उन्होंने आर्ग्यूमेंट दी थी कि हमारी पॉलिटी बहुत इनस्टेबल है अभी भी, एंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल है, तो बार बार गवर्नमेंट का हेड चेंज करना पड़ सकता है। जैसे कि हमने अभी देखा यूके में बार बार उन्होंने 4-4 5-5 महीने में हेड ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट चेंज किया है। तो वो हमें चेंज करना पड़ सकता है अगर कंस्ट्रक्टिव वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस हम ले आते। बहुत ही सिंपल टर्म्स में बता देता हूँ कि अगर हम कंस्ट्रक्टिव वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस लेके आते हैं तो हमें बार बार अपना पॉलिटिकल हेड चेंज करना पड़ सकता है। दैट मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ कि जी हमने एक पॉलिसी लाई जो हमें कोई पसंद नहीं है, तो हमने चलो पॉलिटिकल हेड ही बंद कर दी। जैसे कि ब्रेग्जिट के टाइम पे यूके में हुआ था, बहुत पॉलिटिकल हेड चेंज हुए थे, क्योंकि यूके में भी जो स्ट्रक्चर, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल जो स्ट्रक्चर है, वो पार्लियामेंट्री जो फॉर्म है, वो भी लगभग लगभग हमारे जितनी ही फ्लेक्सिबल है। तो ये हमारा चेंजेस का एस्पेक्ट था। ये एक हमने जो है लीगल लैक्यूना या लूपहोल हमने, या फिर हम ये कह दें कि हमने क्यों नहीं सिलेक्ट किया, एक पॉइंट ऑफ कंसर्न दैट विल अनफोल्ड इन द कमिंग डेज। दैट इज द कंस्ट्रक्टिव वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस। No doubt this one time election, that is simultaneous election, one nation, one election, will bring rapid transport transformation in the growth of the country, and it will make a paradigm shift from gradual evolution, and it will reboot the Indian polity also. Now the bill is before the JPC, as I said. So government is involving stakeholders, and it is reported that former CJI, UU Lalit also made submissions before JPC, Joint Parliament Committee, uh, to review the legislation or bill to check the constitutionality. That is the aspect I am discussing, constitutionality of the one nation, one election. The former CJI made the remark that this may come into the attack of the constitutional doctrine basic structure, because this will curtail the tenure of the state assemblies, and 172 of the constitution will not allow it. That is the main argument that I was discussing also since beginning. And that is the issue before the government or the union government. And CGI, former CGI usually suggested that India needs to approach the staggered approach. Staggered approach is nothing but a transition in a slow manner. We cannot make a shift altogether in one go to one nation, one election. That that is the argument. Second argument, first argument is federalism, and the second argument is the transition. That are the two main arguments that the union government and the constitutional experts are uh, coming to the point, that they are discussing, that they are accepting, that they are the challenging point in this. The transition one and the federalism second. Federalism I have discussed already, and the transition also I have told you that 182 article and the 172 article, how they are protecting the autonomy of the assemblies, and how the transition will affect the federalism also, the right also. So CGI, former CGI UU Lalit accepted the suggestions made in the 79th report of the Parliament Standing Committee made in the Rajya Sabha in 2015. Justice, former CJI usually made remark that staggered approach एक्सटेंट क्या होगा, उस पे उनका जो पर्टिकुलर रिमार्क था कि आप स्टैगर्ड अप्रोच में भी कितना स्टैगर्ड होगा, कितना नहीं होगा स्टैगर्ड, तो दैट इज ओके, दैट इट विल बी फेज वाइज मैनर, स्लो, that is okay, staggered approach, one step at a time. But what is that step, what could be the extent? See, former CGI said that we can have a two phase or three phase, the phase is not fixed, but point is ki we need to bring this bill out of the doctrine of basic structure. That is, we need to take the approval of the doctrine also. Basic structure doctrine, we cannot afford to violate it. We cannot run confront to the we cannot go contrary to the doctrine of constitution, principles of the constitution. So they said staggered approach we need to adopt. So the assembly has 5-year term. They said we can divide the assemblies in the two terms. फर्स्ट इज सब्सटेंशियल टर्म एंड दूसरा जो है अपना पेरिफेरल टर्म्स. वो कहते हैं कि पेरिफेरल टर्म्स को जो उस टाइम पे उस फेज में इलेक्शन होगा उसमें इन्वॉल्व कर लेंगे, जिसका सब्सटेंशियल टर्म रहता होगा उसको हम इन्वॉल्व नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि वो बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर को वायलेट कर जाएगी. और पॉइंट ये है कि असेंबली इज नॉट सबसर्विएंट. 172 autonomy of the election. The elected members are equally responsible, accountable to the citizen. So the standing is same. So we cannot treat assemblies subservient to the member of parliament, and the term also and the house also holds equal value. This is the federal structure. This cannot be violated by this 129th bill. that was introduced in the Lok Sabha on 17th December 2024. So staggered approach, 30% tenure or below that, we can involve that in that phase, that assembly, in that phase election. We can, I mean, we can cut only the small portion of the tenure. We cannot make a major cut in the tenure. If we make the major cut in the tenure, it will violate the federal autonomy, the federal structure. That is the argument or the remark made by or submission made by former CJI UU Lalit. Mm, Former Justice B.S. Chauhan, Justice Hemant Gupta also approved the remark. And Mr. Kapil Sibal, senior advocate, also hold a PC or the views on this, that one nation one election will affect the federal structure. That was the argument that is being considered by the government. That is the only argument. Another point that was raised by the Dr. Sibal, Mr. Sibal, was that कि अगर गवर्नमेंट नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन में चली जाती है तो उसके लिए क्या प्रोविजन है, क्या फ्रेश इलेक्शन होगा या नहीं होगा. फिलहाल के टाइम में फ्रेश इलेक्शन सजेस्टेड है बिल में. जो फ्रेश इलेक्शन होगा तो मान के चलो अगर किसी बंदे का इलेक्शन अभी हुआ, कॉन्फिडेंस दोबारा लूज कर गया, हाउ द वोटर विल जज. The next exercise is being taken by the Election Commission of India. It is just 5 months, and I am again before the people. How they will judge my 5 month career? That is the argument by Dr. Mr. Kapil Sibal. And the point also raised by Dr. Manu Singhvi is that Dr. Manu Singhvi also raised some point in the bill that जब हम देख रहे थे कि हमने बिल जो था हमारा ऑटोनॉमी को अफेक्ट कर रहा था, हम टेन्योर को कट कर रहे थे, क्योंकि टेन्योर को कट करने के लिए हमने क्या करना था, हम टेन्योर को जब कट कर रहे थे तो बिल में एक डेट लिखी, एक वर्ड लिखा हुआ है कि अपॉइंटेड डेट पे इलेक्शन कंडक्ट करा सकता है इलेक्शन कमीशन रिकमेंडेशन मेक करके. मेक करके कि रिकमेंडेशन करेगा प्रेसिडेंट को कि मैम प्रेसिडेंट या जो भी प्रेसिडेंट ऑफिस होगा उनको जो है वो रिकमेंडेशन देंगे. Okay, I'll just conclude. I am just concluding it. It is just last 3-4 remarks that I have to made that are being considered in the bill with the JPC. JPC had agreed to see in this power with the ईसी, क्योंकि ईसी के पास एक पावर चली गई है. ईसी अपनी इस पावर का क्या इस्तेमाल कर सकता है कि जब वो चाहे जब इलेक्शन कंडक्ट करा सकता है मैम प्रेसिडेंट को लिख के स्टेट असेंबली में. तो कहीं ना कहीं ईसी पे जो है इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया की जो अथॉरिटी जो है आर्बिट्ररी लगने लगी है इस पॉइंट पे. पोजीशंस को एंड पॉइंट्स पे जो है देखने वाली बात है, जो कि अब कंसिडर किया जा रहा है. आज भी एक जेपीसी की मीटिंग है बॉम्बे में, और जो टेन्योर कटिंग वाला सवाल था उस पे हमने आर्ग्यू किया ही है कि स्टैगर्ड अप्रोच हमने लेनी है. और कंस्ट्रक्टिव नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन वाला पॉइंट अभी हमारा ओपन है, क्योंकि कमेटी ने इस रिकमेंडेशन को लिया नहीं है, ना ये बिल का पार्ट है. तो दैट इज ऑल्सो अंडर डिस्कशन. And the subordination of assemblies is clear that it is not a subordinate system or the subservient in the nature. And another point is regional parties, that some parties are accepting that it will not affect the policy and some are not accepting it. But majorly it is being agreed. So that is the bill that we discussed it. That is all on the bill.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I would like to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to Mr. Chandrapal, Advocate, Delhi High Court, for sharing his valuable insights on one nation and one election. Sir, your expertise enriched our discussion and provided a deeper understanding of the topic. We appreciate your time and efforts in joining us today. Thank you also to the School of Law, PCU team, and all participants for making this webinar a success. Let's look forward to more such engaging discussion in the future. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.